$30 million in cars, and here are 5 rules you need to know that I've learned over the last 20 years. All right, welcome back to Exotic Car Hacks, and let's cover the 5 key things you need to know before buying your next car. What I've learned over the last 20 years that has, helped me get to a place where not only I help 200 plus people a month get their exotic car, but over the last probably 15-20 years have taught over 25,000 people. Some of the principles here that we're going to discuss on the surface. Obviously, the first one being most people misunderstand is they go, oh, you're never supposed to buy a car new because it's going to depreciate. So we're going to talk about my Rolls-Royce here as an example of a car that was literally new or newer and yet still was bought with the right depreciation schedule. So when you're thinking about buying new cars, as our first rule, it's not about never buy new, it's never buy new and pay full price. So in the context of exotic cars, you have to understand that after 7 months, a car sitting at a dealership unsold, they're going to start having to make concessions to get rid of that. And there is a large portion of the initial depreciation, which is usually at least 20 to 25%, that's built into the car itself, just sitting there on the lot. So it's not about your invoice or what they showed you to pay for the car. This is all a bogus game dealers have been playing. This car, for example, brand new was $700,000. I bought it brand new for 430 grand. So think about that. That's like a 270K savings, and that's very normal. Now, you might walk into your Rolls-Royce dealer tomorrow and say, I want a car for 450 grand, blah, 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 and it's only listed for 550. How come I can't have 100 or 250K off if PJ said? It's not about getting 100K off because you deserve it. It's about understanding that timing plays a significant role in it. So if this car is still sitting there, you're looking at a 2024, and it's still there a year later, it's very likely that it's going to be discounted heavily or willing to take that concession, even though on the internet it's never going to list a lower sales price. So you can't be afraid of what things are listed for. I just bought an Aston Martin DBS, brand new 2023 Ultimate Edition, and I paid, you ready for this, 200K off of MSRP, and the car's never been titled. It's got 80 miles, it's gonna have 3 years warranty, everything, and it's the last and the best and special edition, whatever, and it's 200K off of MSRP just because it was sitting there and no one even advertised the car properly. Did the dealer make a mistake? Was it an ugly car? No, it was the best and hottest looking car you'll ever see on the channel shortly, but at the very least, you'll understand that making the right dollars at the right time matter more than anything else. All right, so that's first freaking rule. Second rule is, as it pertains to financing, people always ask me, should I finance or should I buy my car outright, right? Does it make sense or not? Which one should I do? What makes more sense? What about the interest rate? So interest rates are never an issue. They come down to what we call cost of cash. So if you want to rethink how you look at interest rates in the world, start thinking about what it means to you. One, you're getting a loan because you usually can't afford to pay cash. The second piece is you're getting a loan even if you can't afford to pay cash because you have better use of the money elsewhere. If number 2 is you, then the cost of that money elsewhere is what determines if it makes sense to take out a loan or not take out a loan. So at the time I bought this Countach, I took out $1 million loan on a $3 million car. Now in this particular context, $1 million could be used elsewhere, making me 10 to 15% a quarter at the very least. In this case, I was able to get a rate for 7%, and therefore it doesn't bother me because 7% a year versus 10, 15% a quarter, it's a no-brainer. You take out the loan as much as you can. It doesn't mean that you have to stick with the loan. Months later, the car is paid off. It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is at the very moment you're making that decision, it has to pertain to you and what you're going to be able to cost to cash. Now, a lot of times people, when it comes to car hacking on the channel, tell me, you're not counting the cost of the interest. Well, no, I'm not, for one reason. If I count the cost of the interest, it's only fair that I actually calculate the cost of the cash making me out there and offset the interest, which means that I would make even more money than the car's worth. Does that count? Of course not. You're not me, I'm not you. Whatever your personal situation is, whatever that cost of cash is, if it's lower than the cost of basically the loan you're taking, then you may want to consider not taking because you're actually losing money by keeping the money in your account. But it also is a question of leverage. What if you need this money later for a potentially good deal on something? So you have to really choose what is that worth to you at that moment and of course in the future. Now, the third rule here when it comes to buying exotic cars, comes down to inspections more than anything else. Now, you have to understand that doing good inspections when buying cars is an absolute necessary evil, no matter where you are. I have seen thousands of people buy cars uninspected, just going out and saying, I'll buy it, here's the price, here's that, and boom, they buy a car only to lose $30,000 later repairing the car. Here's the reality. You never get your money back on heavy repairs. So making sure you don't have any going into a car will determine real value. If you keep buying price, for example, like I want to buy the lowest price car in the world, then you're going to end up putting yourself in a position, especially because the lowest price car is never clean, where even that additional repair is going to cost you the same as having bought a much better car with lower mileage and even a year newer. But just this idea that the price today is ultimately the price you're paying is the furthest thing from the truth possible. You are paying the price of your ownership in addition to the price of the car. Ensuring you have great ownership will put you in a really good position to ensure that you don't have extra costs associated with the car. Fourth thing I learned that I think really matters is never buy cheap, always buy exclusive. If you look at all the data that people show you, from record sales of Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche, Bentley, individualization is the #1 most sought after option. People don't want what everyone else has. Yes, there's a retard on the internet that sits there and goes, I bought this at auction and I drove it cheap and I wholesaled it. That idiot can stay poor with his friends. Real exotic car buyers buy specs. They buy exciting specs. This is the only blue on silver stripe for GT in the world. Is that really exclusive to have silver stripes? Not to you, no problem. You're not the buyer for this car. Is this yellow SLS solar beam that's like less than 20 units made in this color, is that the most exclusive car in the world? Of course not. But when you go resell your car, competing with 100 listings versus competing with none will make a significant difference in the value you get. I sell my cars for record numbers because the buyers are not here looking for a deal, they're looking for the right car. And the right car, if there's only one, has the price you're assigning it, not the price you are told it should sell for based on auction, etc. Great cars never get traded in. Great cars end up sold for either better cars when they're at very specialty dealerships or to people who are collectors. So always buy the cars with the right options. And finally, the last piece of advice I'll leave you with, which I think many people just always skimp out on, when buying a brand new car, especially when buying something as crazy as a Revuelto, a Cullinan or anything, keep in mind that buying base model cars to keep the cost low will again deter on our rule #4, which is competing with those other cars on the market. This is a Revuelto with almost every single possible options minus the carbon roof, and yet with a very tailored special interior that is Tiffany blue on Grigio Telesto. It was spec'd this way to appeal to people who enjoy heritage Lamborghini, yet with a hint of spicy that makes it the only car on the market that will have this configuration. The point of this is to remember that someone that buys an exclusive car does not want plastic pieces all over it. They want the top of the line carbon. Make sure you're matching your actual car spec to the actual next buyer that will buy it. And now before you sit here and go, who buys a car so the next guy can enjoy it? It's like getting your wife so the next guy can fuck her. No, you lost causes. It's not. The reason we buy incredible cars knowing that we are eventually going to get bored, and you poor people don't get that, is because, simply put, these cars are so come and go and trendy. Just like fashion, you're not wearing the same clothes every year for the last 15 years. Well, some of you are, and I'm sorry for you. That's probably why you don't have the right chicks and why you need exotic car hacks. For everyone else that actually changes their clothes every few months or every few weeks, some of us every single day, then you need cars that are exclusive enough and exciting enough that when you get rid of them, other people will want them, so that obviously you can go on and get your money back and use it on the next car. This is as simple as saying, do you ever need a prenup when going into a marriage when you have trust? Of course you do. Because there is a point in this where love will change, and though she won't love you, you won't love her, or you love her sister who's 20 years younger. But whatever happens, it will happen on your terms instead of courts deciding for you what to do. And that in itself is literally a new company we created called Exotic Car Prenup, which is in the description as well if you want to know exactly what your future car's value will be, and even buying a recovery policy to ensure and guarantee it. Now, if you've liked these tips and want to learn more about exotic car ownership, click the link in the description and learn from our free training. If you're ready to join Exotic Car Hacks, Black Friday in July is here, which means $197 memberships are back, giving you access to everything you need to know at Exotic Car Hacks for over 80% off. So like, subscribe, turn on notification, and of course click the third link so you can take advantage of our sale. See you guys later for Exotic Car Hacks.